There is a rule in the music business that nobody writes in a contract. It says, the person who performs the song owns the song in the public's mind, whether they wrote it or not. Doesn't matter how long you spent on it. Doesn't matter how much of yourself you poured into every line. The moment somebody bigger steps up to the mic, your version becomes the demo. These 15 artists learned that lesson the hard way. Some gave songs away willingly. Some were forced. Some were robbed. Not illegally, but in the way only the music industry knows how to do. This is their story.
Don't leave me out in the rain.
Number 1. Otis Redding. Gave respect to Aretha Franklin. He wrote it in one day. Took him about 20 minutes to arrange, and it was exactly what he intended it to be. A man coming home after a long, hard shift, asking his woman for a little respect. That man was Otis Redding, and that song was his. When Redding released Respect in 1965, it climbed to number 35 on the pop chart, a modest but respectable hit for a soul man from Macon, Georgia. He called it one of his favorites. He said the groove was better than anything else he'd ever made. Then Aretha Franklin heard it on the radio. She was cleaning her apartment in Detroit. Her sister Carolyn was there, and Aretha said 4 words that would change music history. I can do something different with this. She went into Atlantic Studios on Valentine's Day, 1967. She sped up the tempo. She rewrote the emotional center of the song from a man's plea to a woman's demand. She added the R-E-S-P-E-C-T spelling, the sock it to me chant, and turned a quiet request into a declaration. When Aretha's version dropped, it went to number 1. Stayed there. Became a civil rights anthem, a feminist anthem, an everything anthem. And Otis Redding, he performed the song at the Monterey Pop Festival that same summer. Before he played it, he looked out at the crowd and said, "This next song is a song that a girl took away from me. A good friend of mine. She just took this song, but I'm still going to do it anyway." Number 2. Dolly Parton. Wrote, "I Will Always Love You." Then Elvis wanted it. She wrote it in 1973 as a farewell note, not to a lover, to her boss. Dolly Parton had spent 7 years working on Porter Wagoner's television show, the man who discovered her, shaped her, and launched her career. Now she wanted to go solo, and Wagoner didn't want to let her go. So she went home, and she wrote him a song. She played it for him the next morning, and he cried. He said, "That's the prettiest song I ever heard."
All of this, I wish you love.
Then he said, "Okay, you can go, but only if I can produce that record." Dolly released "I Will Always Love You" in 1974. It went to number 1 on the country chart. And that's when Elvis Presley's manager came calling. Colonel Tom Parker called Dolly directly. He said Elvis loved the song. He wanted to record it, and he was going into the studio. Dolly was so excited she told everyone she knew. Then Parker said the words that changed everything. "You know Elvis doesn't record any song unless he gets half the publishing rights." Dolly went quiet. She said, "I'm sorry, but I can't give you the publishing. This is what I'm leaving for my family when I'm gone." Parker said, "Then we can't record it." And just like that, Elvis Presley never recorded that song. Dolly cried all night. She said it felt like one of the worst nights of her life. Nearly 20 years passed. Then Kevin Costner called. He was making a movie called The Bodyguard. He had Whitney Houston, and he wanted that song. In 1992, Whitney Houston's version of "I Will Always Love You" spent 14 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became the best-selling single ever recorded by a female artist. More than 20 million copies sold worldwide. The first time Dolly heard it on the radio, she was driving in her car. She had to pull over to the side of the road because she was shaking too hard to drive. Later, she said quietly, "When Whitney's version came out, I made enough money to buy Graceland." Number 3. Neo wrote Irreplaceable, then decided a woman had to sing it. He was 10 or 11 years old when he watched his aunt pack up a man's entire life into a cardboard box. She put it to the left of the closet. She told him calmly, "Everything that's yours is in that box. Everything I bought stays." Neo never forgot that moment. Years later, he sat down and wrote a song exactly about it. He called it Irreplaceable, and he wrote it for himself. But here's the problem. When he heard it back, a man singing, "I can have another you in a minute," it sounded mean, cold, dismissive. Coming from a woman in that situation, it was power. Coming from a man, it was just arrogance. So he gave it away. When it went to Beyoncé, she initially wasn't sure it fit her album. Her A&R man Swizz Beatz reportedly told her she'd be crazy not to include it. Beyoncé asked for changes, more drums, higher register, new vocal arrangements, and she turned Neo's personal story about his aunt's breakup into the defining song of 2006. Irreplaceable sat at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 10 weeks. It was the most successful single of the entire year. It was certified 6 times platinum by the RIAA. Neo later said in an interview, "I think back to that song. Like, had I kept it, would it have been the hit that it is now?" He knows the answer. You do too. Number 4. Prince wrote Nothing Compares to You and gave it away. Twice. Here is the most ridiculous origin story in pop music history. In 1984, Prince was alone in his mansion. His housekeeper had to leave suddenly to deal with a family emergency. Her name was Sandy Scipione, and according to Prince's sound engineer Susan Rogers, Sandy ran Prince's life. So Prince, one of the most talented musicians who ever lived, sat down and wrote one of the most devastating heartbreak songs ever recorded, about his housekeeper leaving. He gave it to his funk pop side project, The Family. They recorded it, put it on their album in 1985. Nobody heard it. The album flopped. The song disappeared. Then Sinead O'Connor's manager found a cassette tape of it, played it for her label co-director. He said, "I actually started crying. I just sat there with tears in my eyes." Sinead recorded it in 1990. She changed one lyric, the number of days, to make it feel more personal. She sang it in a studio while going through a real breakup with her own manager. And then the video happened. A single camera, a shaved head, a close-up, and one single tear rolling down her face. Nothing Compares to You went to number 1 in Ireland, the UK, and the US Billboard named it the number 1 world single of 1990. It was nominated for 3 Grammys. Prince performed the song himself after her version became iconic, but the world had already decided. It was Sinead's song now. At a concert shortly after her cover dropped, Prince reportedly told his band, "She stole it, and she did it better." He never publicly admitted that last part, but his sound engineer said she believed he knew. Number 5. Toni Braxton hated Unbreak My Heart so much she grabbed a songwriter's leg. Diane Warren literally dropped to her knees. She was in the hallway of the recording studio. Toni Braxton was walking past, and Warren grabbed her by the leg and refused to let go until Toni agreed to record the song she had written for her. Toni reportedly said, "I hate that song. I hate it." Warren said, "I'll pay for the session myself if it doesn't work." That song was "Unbreak My Heart."
So many nights.
Warren had conceived the song from its title alone. The phrase popped into her head and she thought, "I don't think I've heard that before." She played it for Clive Davis at Arista Records. Davis loved it immediately, except he thought rhyming rain with pain was a cliche. Warren refused to change it. Toni Braxton didn't want another heartbreak ballad.
Walked out of my life. Uncorrupted.
She felt she'd made too many. Her label boss, L.A. Reid, had to personally convince her to record it. She did it, under protest. "Unbreak My Heart" spent 11 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It won the Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. It sold over 10 million copies worldwide. It became the biggest hit of Toni Braxton's career. A hit she hated, that she almost never recorded, that a songwriter grabbed her leg to get her to try. Diane Warren later joked, maybe she hates it more now, having to sing it for 20 years. Number 6. Tori Alamaz signed away. "Don't Cha," and watched it hit. #1 in 20 countries. She was a former makeup artist, a backup singer for Outkast, and in 2004,
Don't you wish your girlfriend was wrong?
CeeLo Green wrote her the song that was supposed to be her moment. It was called "Don't Cha." CeeLo finished writing it in a basement studio in Atlanta in January 2004. Critics heard Tori's version and called it sultry, strange, and astonishingly good. Vibe magazine loved it. Salon loved it.
Don't you, baby? Don't you?
A Rolling Stone writer later said they preferred her version. The song was climbing the charts. The momentum was real. Tori was touring and working, building toward something. Then the label politics started. Universal Records was growing impatient. There were creative disagreements, egos and favors, as Tori later described it. She felt like she was caught in the middle of something she didn't control.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Oh, don't.
So she made a deal. She signed away her rights to the song in exchange for walking away from her contract. Universal Records took "Don't Cha" and gave it to a group they were building from a Hollywood burlesque cabaret act, the Pussycat Dolls. They added a Busta Rhymes verse, polished the production, made it radio ready. In 2005,
You ain't blind. I know she loves.
the Pussycat Dolls version of "Don't Cha" went #1 in 20 countries. It topped the UK chart. It hit #2 in America. It became one of the best-known songs of the decade. Years later, Tori Alamaz said in an interview, "In the height of my touring and working, you give my music to some girls that don't look like me. It was very hush-hush. Very, we've given them the song. They're the sex pots now." She also said, "I'm just glad I survived it. There was a lot of shame and embarrassment. I have moved all the way on and forward."
Let's keep it friendly. You have to play fair.
#7. The Bee Gees wrote "Chain Reaction" for Diana Ross. From a hospital bed, Barry Gibb wrote the last song for Diana Ross's album while he was sick. The Bee Gees had taken an assignment in 1984. They were writing and producing the entirety of Diana Ross's comeback album, Eaten Alive. By the time they got to the last track, Barry Gibb was bedridden with illness. He wrote "Chain Reaction" from his hospital bed. A full-on Motown tribute, designed to sound like the 1960s, like the Supremes, like Diana's entire earlier sound. That was the problem. When Ross heard it, she hesitated. The song sounded so much like her old Supremes material that she worried it was going backward, not forward. Motown executive Berry Gordy reportedly also had concerns. This was supposed to be a new era for Diana Ross, not a nostalgia trip, But Diana ultimately decided to trust it, and Chain Reaction was released in 1985. In the UK, it shot to number 1. It stayed there for 3 weeks. It became one of the biggest Diana Ross songs of the decade, and proof that sometimes going backward is the fastest way forward. The man who wrote it from a hospital bed, never fully believing she'd keep it, watched it top the British charts. Number 8. Lady Gaga wrote Telephone for Britney Spears. And Britney said, no, Lady Gaga wrote the song specifically for Britney Spears' 2008 album Circus. She built it around Britney's voice, Britney's image, and Britney's world. Britney's team received it. Britney recorded a demo, and then Britney said, it doesn't work for me. So Gaga took the song back. She saved it for her own record, her 2009 album, The Fame Monster. She called up Beyoncé and got one of the most iconic music video collaborations ever made. Telephone went to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. The music video, 9 minutes long, shot like a short film, became a cultural moment that people are still talking about, all because Britney passed. Number 9. I'm a Slave for You was written for Janet Jackson, and Janet said, no, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo, the production duo known as the Neptunes, wrote I'm a Slave for You.
Don't you wanna dance up on me?
With one person in mind, Janet Jackson. The song's edgy, sensual, hypnotic production matched Jackson's brand perfectly. It fit everything she had built with control. Rhythm Nation, Janet. Janet passed. The song was offered to Britney Spears.
Baby, don't you wanna dance up on me?
In 2001, Britney was ready to reinvent herself, to move away from the bubblegum teen pop image that had made her a global star. I'm a Slave for You was exactly the vehicle she needed. The song's provocative lyrics, its raw pulse, its minimalist groove.
Dance up on me. Are you ready?
It made Britney sound dangerous in a way no one had heard before. She performed it at the 2001 MTV VMAs with a live python draped around her neck, and the moment became one of the most talked about performances in VMA history. The song hit the top 10 worldwide, and Britney's reinvention was complete. Janet Jackson, meanwhile, never had that moment. She never had that specific song. The Neptunes wrote it for her, and someone else wore it better. Number 10, Halo, was sent to Beyoncé, but she wasn't moving fast enough. Ryan Tedder wrote Halo for Beyoncé. He sent it, heard nothing.
My angel now is like I've been awake.
So he did what any smart songwriter does when one door goes quiet. He quietly started knocking on other doors. He let Leona Lewis's team hear it. They loved it immediately. They said they wanted it. Tedder panicked. He called them back and said, wait, it's not free yet. He had sent it to Beyoncé first. He was trying to make Beyoncé move faster. It worked. The moment Beyoncé realized another A-list artist was circling the song, she locked it down. Halo was released in 2009. It reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became one of Beyoncé's signature ballads, performed at almost every tour she's ever done since. Leona Lewis never got the song. But in a strange twist, Ryan Tedder gave her a different song that same year, Bleeding Love. It went to number 1 in almost every country on earth. So Leona Lewis lost Halo and got something even bigger. Not everyone who loses a song walks away empty. Number 11. Chrisette Michele was supposed to get Irreplaceable. First, before Beyoncé even heard Irreplaceable, it was written for Chrisette Michele. Production team Stargate and Ne-Yo originally built the song for her. But somewhere between the demo and the decision, the song shifted direction. Beyoncé's team heard it. Beyoncé wanted it. And Chrisette Michele, one of the most gifted vocalists in contemporary R&B, never got the record that would have changed her career. Beyoncé took Irreplaceable to #1 for 10 consecutive weeks. Chrisette Michele went on to build a strong catalog of her own, but she never had a #1 like that. And she came within arm's reach of one. Sometimes the song finds the right person. Sometimes the right person just has more power in the room.
Call up that chick and see if she's home. Oops, I bet you thought that
Number 12, Jessie. J wrote Party in the USA, and her label took it from her. Jessie J wrote Party in the USA for herself. She intended to record it.
So hard with my girls on around me. It's definitely not a national.
Then her label heard it and decided it wasn't right for her image. They gave it to Miley Cyrus. Miley later admitted she didn't even particularly like the song when she first heard it. She told interviewers, "I didn't write it, and I didn't expect it to be popular. Originally, it became one of her biggest hits."
Something stops me every time.
A feel-good, flag-waving pop anthem that defined the summer of 2009. It peaked at #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Jessie J has spoken about the song many times since. She said the royalties paid her rent for, and this is a direct quote, like 3 years. So Jessie lost the song, but she cashed the checks, and 3 years of rent isn't nothing. Number 13, Since You Been Gone, was rejected by Pink and Hilary Duff, before Kelly Clarkson made it a classic. Since You Been Gone was turned down twice.
Since you've been gone, how come
Max Martin and Dr. Luke wrote it originally as a punk pop anthem. They sent it to Pink first. Pink passed, so they sent it to Hilary Duff. Duff's management said, "Doesn't suit her voice." They passed too. Max Martin and Dr. Luke, too electric for a pop reality TV singer. Then label boss Clive Davis stepped in. He said, "Kelly Clarkson is the right fit. Trust me." They did.
Guess you never felt that way.
Since You Been Gone was released in 2004 on Kelly's album Breakaway. It went to #8 on the Billboard Hot 100. It won a Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. It is now considered one of the greatest pop songs of the 2000s, a song that defined an entire era of post-breakup anthems. Pink passed, Duff passed, and Kelly Clarkson made it immortal. Number 14, Umbrella, was turned down by Britney Spears and Mary J. Blige. Before Rihanna. This one involves 3 artists and one of the most iconic songs of the 2000s. In 2006, songwriter Terius Nash, known as The Dream, and producer Christopher Stewart wrote Umbrella. They had Britney Spears in mind. Britney's team received it. Britney had just finished recording her album. Her team said, "We're done. No room." So it went to Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige, the queen of hip-hop soul. A woman who has elevated every song she's ever touched. Mary passed too, so it landed with a young Barbadian singer who was still building her name and her sound. Rihanna. Her team was in the building. The song came through, and within minutes, everyone in the room knew what it was. Rihanna's version of Umbrella hit #1 in 9 countries. It sat at the top of the UK chart for 10 weeks, one of the longest runs in British chart history. She won a Grammy for it in 2008. And that opening line, "You had my heart, and we'll never be worlds apart," is one of the most recognizable opening phrases in modern pop. Britney passed, Mary passed, and Rihanna became a superstar. Number 15, Saving All My Love for You, was written for Janet Jackson and went to Whitney Houston. Songwriters George Merrill and Shannon Rubicam wrote it. They had one artist in mind, Janet Jackson. A&R at Janet's label A&M Records asked the duo to send it over. Janet was in the middle of recording Control, the album that would redefine her entire image and career. The song didn't fit the vision. Janet's team passed, politely, professionally. The song went to Whitney Houston. In 1985, Saving All My Love for You became Whitney's first #1 hit. It topped the Billboard Hot 100, and it won her the Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Her first Grammy, her first #1. All from a song that wasn't written for her. Janet Jackson went on to make Control, which became one of the most important albums in R&B history. And Whitney Houston launched one of the greatest careers the world has ever seen, with a song written for someone else.
I got to get ready.